The first question is discuss the background of the leader and organization involved. The leader involved is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born in 1955 in San Francisco to Syrian and Swiss German parents. He was adopted by Paul Jobs, a machinist and Coast Guard veteran, and his wife Clara Jobs, an accountant. Jobs and his father worked on electronics in the home garage when he was a child. Paul taught his kids how to disassemble and rebuild electronics, a pastime that fostered him in confidence, persistence, and mechanical aptitude. Steve Jobs was an American inventor, designer, and entrepreneur who co-founded, led, and chaired Apple. He co-founded Apple and was instrumental in the development of Apple, iMac, and Macintosh computer, as well as the iPod, iPhone, and iPad.
Hi, my name is Nushahidah binti Lahmat and my metric number is 285542. Then I will explain the organization involved, which is Apple, Next, and Pixar. The first one is Apple Company that was founded by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak on April 1, 1976 and registered in 1977. The first product that was produced in the company is Apple I, which is a computer circuit board. After the success of creating Apple I, they also create another product, which is Apple II, which is more advanced than the previous product. Besides that, many other products were produced, such as Lisa and Macintosh, before Steve Jobs left the Apple company. Next was founded by Steve. Steve developed this company with the intention of achieving his vision of producing high-tech computers at that time. In 1988, Steve succeeded to launch his first product, which is NEC computer, and a few years later, his company launched the second product, which is NEC station. And the last company involved is Pixar, which is now a famous animation studio. After leaving Apple, Steve have invested millions of dollars in Pixar. At first, Pixar was more focused on selling computer hardware, but the sales were poor. Pixar was revived after they succeed on producing short animation, and that makes Steve realize that the potential of the company is as an computer animation studio. Steve started looking for collaboration like Disney to boost the company.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Rafika bint Abdulaziz with the metric number 285273. Now it's my turn to answer the question 2 about why was Apple so successful in the initial year of the PC industry. So the first answer is develop good teamwork. Steve Jobs and their colleagues create their own individual roles and function within the Apple organization. For example, Makula's role is attracting venture capital, Wozniak is a technical genius, and Jobs is the main developer of technology. Due to the good teamwork strategy, make it successful to run a computer technology business in the initial year of the PC industry. The second is aware community needs. Steve Jobs' PC products are attributable to his sincere desire to make it easier for people to live in a world of advanced technology. This is evident from the marketing plan, which aimed to provide every man, woman, and child with a user-friendly computer. The invention of the computer at that time was an intelligent move that made it simple for everyone, like adults, children, and everyone in between. This is why people choose Apple that time. So the next is innovation product design. Steve Jobs made the right action when he produced a computer that was complete in any perspective. Steve Jobs created a lead doctor were drawn to the computer by its rounded plastic case, developed first electronic spreadsheet calculator like VC calculator, and key update that saw the successful integration of a floppy disk drive. We can identify that Steve Jobs had a wide innovation idea that was beneficial to be in the market and be the first choice in the initial year of the PC industry. So next, we move to the question, why was Jobs stripped of his operating responsibility in 1985? The answer is disagreement opinions. Following the Macintosh underwhelming debut, Jobs apparently planned to cut the price of the Mac, keep advertising high, and de-emphasize the Apple II, which remained to be a staple of the company's sales to address the demand gap. But the disagreement occurred when Scully argued that the technology was not yet ready to support such a strategy and took the issues to the board. The board agreed with the Scully and requested Jobs to step down as a leader of the Macintosh business after receiving the data from several key personnel. 11. Jobs resigned from the company after a brief or sabbatical. Scully resolved the issue with a Mac and gained a cult following a drove the Mac into new areas, most notable education and desktop publishing.
Between his time at Next and his time at Pixar, Steve's experience as CEO of Next allowed him to enhance his leadership skills. This is because Next is a new company founded by Steve Jobs. He needs to start from the bottom, like creating a new teams, producing new products, and introducing the product to the market. Steve Jobs also needs to be creative in producing products because he needs to ensure that his product can compete with other competitors. In 1988, his company launched their first product, which is Net Computer, followed by NetStation after a few years. There are a lot of challenges he needs to face in leading his company, such as less sales and high hardware costs. Lastly, Apple acquired Net for $429 million, and Steve Jobs returned to the company. He used his leadership style at Apple and it helped company growth. Compared to his time at Pixar, Steve is more focused as an investor at that company. He was not involved in making the animation, but he contributed financially to the company. He successfully negotiated an agreement with Disney to produce an animation film, which is Toy Story. And as a result, the film became famous, and the Pixar company became a well-known studio in the animation industry. In conclusion, his time at both companies gave impact to Steve's leadership, but the challenge at Net company makes Steve have to be a stronger leader, innovative, and always think outside the box because he has to start from the bottom and compete with big company at that time.
Question number 4 is when Jobs returned to Apple in 1996, the company was nearly bankrupt. Why? Apple was nearly bankrupt because it is facing heavy rivalry, lack of innovation, and leadership changes. Firstly, heavy rivalry led to the beginning of the crisis. Apple released the Apple II computer, which leads them to quickly becoming the industry leader. By the end of 1980, Apple had sold over 100,000 Apple IIs. Because they are aware that the competition would be close behind, they released Apple III. It is their first computer for the business market. However, by the late 1980s, Apple faced growing competition from IBM and Microsoft, both of whom had created successful operating system and computer hardware, which had led them to drop market share, failing to 6.2% in 1982, even though its revenue continues to grow. Second reason is because of lack of innovation. Apple was perceived to be lagging behind its competitors in terms of technical innovation. For a long time, the firm had not developed any revolutionary items, and its creating products were viewed as old and less desired. Only until Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1996 and the following launch of game-changing devices such as iMac, iPod, iPhone, and others, did Apple restore its image as an inventive firm and achieve a stunning comeback. Lastly is because of leadership changes. Apple's president resigned after weak corporate sales and its series of layoffs. Apple's board of directors believed that Jobs was too young to be CEO and that company required someone who could maintain Apple commercially successful for at least 3 more years. These disagreements within caused the corporation to lose focus and strategic direction, causing its financial problems.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Noor Alianata Shah binti Muhammad. My metric number is 288048. Next question 5. The question is, as a leader strategist, what did Jobs get right this time around? As a leader strategist, Jobs got several things right this time around to save Apple. He was able to refocus the company around innovation and developing new products. He also created an atmosphere of collaborating between the engineering, marketing, and design team. The first thing he has done, Jobs changed the perception and goal from burdening Apple product line to focusing on great products. Jobs told his team about the 2x2 metric with consumer and pro for columns and desktop and portable for row. Jobs explained that they needed to concentrate on 4 great products, one for each quadrant, and that all unattractive products would be cancelled. Second, Jobs did a collaboration with Bill Gates at Microsoft. Jobs had reached out to Gates about creating a programming language for Apple's personal computer. They reached an agreement for Microsoft to develop software for Apple. Gates put together a spreadsheet program, which is Excel, a word processing program, Word, and Basic program, which is an easy-to-use programming language for Apple. Next, Jobs worked with Jonathan Ive, Apple's lead designer, for simplicity and driving to reduce unnecessary product complexity. For Jobs, design is the fundamental soul of a human-made creation and has a meaning that can impress itself in successive outer layers of the product or services. That's why he weighed in heavily on product decision, pushing ruthlessly for simple and elegant product design that were useless. Jobs also developed the new product iMac in August 1998. The iMac is the company's first real code after Jobs' return. It is an all-in-one computer featuring colorful, translation cases with a distinctive eggshell design. Jonathan Ive has recalled that the yearly brainstorming session focused on soft, emotive concerns like how do we want people to feel about it, rather than on cheap speed or market share, and also what part of our mind should it occupy. For the first time, plug-and-play peripherals like printers made for Windows-based computers were supported by the iMac. This new developing product successfully made Apple's sales outpace the industry average for the first time in years. It increased the profit of Apple in 1998 by $309 compared to the previous year, suffering a loss of $1 billion. The last thing Steve Jobs did was collaborate with design teams to make Apple a cultural force in the marketing work. Jobs' priority was to break away from Apple's tired, tarnished image that cannot resist the excitement among customers. So, Apple promoted itself as a hip alternative to other computer brands through multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns such as the successful Think Different ads and catchy slogans, the ultimate all-in-one designs, and it just works. Apple ads were placed in fashion magazines and the popular press, venturing out from generic computer publications. In the face of fierce competition in the PC sectors, the objective was to differentiate the Macintosh. And that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Afrida binti Yusuf and I am the last person to present about this study case for our growth start. Over the course of a few years, Apple's market share suffered slowly after its peaks in 1990, and by 1996, experts believed that the company to be doomed. It was not until 1997, when Apple was desperately in need of an operating system, that when the company bought out Next Software, which is Jobs' company. And the board of directors decided to ask for some help from Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs became an interim CEO or ICEO. Jobs not officially the CEO until 2000. Jobs believed to make some changes around Apple. He forged an alliance with Microsoft to create a Mac version of its popular Office software. Not long after this decision was the turning point for the company. Jobs reformed the computers and introduced the iBook, a personal laptop, followed by iPod and MP3 player, which became market leader at that time. The iPhone, a touchscreen cellular phone introduced in 2007, was one of the world's most successful products, and the company has released several new versions since. and the new one is iPhone 14 Pro Max. Not long after the announcement of iPhone and Apple TV, the company dropped computer from its name to become Apple Incorporated, indicating that it is about more than just computers. Other popular products include iPad, tablet, and Apple Watch. Most recently, Apple has expanded its services segments with its credit card, Apple Card, Apple News for news, Apple Arcade for games, and the Apple TV Plus for streaming original content produced by Apple. Steve Jobs resigned in October 5, 2011, but Apple continues on his legacy with Tim Cook at the helm as the CEO. The popularity of iPhones made Apple the first company valued at $1 trillion in 2018, and 2 years later it doubled that figure. That's all from my team. That's all from my group Stars. Thank you so much.